If we're gonna talk about mountain men, it would behoove me to have my beard in its best possible condition. And that's why I use Grunt Style Outdoors Beard Balm. Let's get started. Jesus, this guy's a real badass. I'm gonna need some beard oil too. Alright, let's do this. Hugh Glass. Hugh Glass was an unkillable mountain man with an iron will and an insatiable thirst for revenge. In 1823, while on a fur trapping expedition, Hugh found himself between a grizzly bear and her cubs. He just happened to step into the wrong place at the wrong time. The massive bear batted his rifle out of his hands and viciously attacked. The only way to survive was to stab wildly with his knife. Later, he was found by his group lying next to the dead bear in a mess of human and animal blood. He had narrowly escaped with his life, but he had been scalped, his ribs were exposed, and his leg and arm were broken. Any fool could see he would be dead within a matter of hours, and the group found themselves in a predicament. They carried Hugh only a few miles on a stretcher before they realized they'd never get anywhere if they had to continue to drag him any further. Jim Bridger and John Fitzgerald agreed to stay back with him until he died, so they could give him a proper burial, then meet up with the group later. Hugh was too stubborn to die, and the two men were getting restless. They dug a shallow grave and rolled him in, covered him with sticks and leaves, took his prized rifle and all of his gear, and left his sorry ass to die. They met up with the group and told them that Hugh was already dead. Hugh didn't think that was very cool of them to do. In fact, he was really bothered by their handling of the situation. So, instead of dying in his shallow grave they left him in, he decided he would have to find them so they could have some words about what had just transpired. He spent the next 6 weeks crawling on his hands and knees, eating roots, berries, and leaves from the ground as he went. To prevent gangrene from taking over, he found rotted logs along the way to lay on as maggots ate away the dead flesh from his back. He set his own broken bones and was running a massive fever due to the ridiculous amount of life-threatening injuries. He eventually came to a fallen tree and was able to roll a log into the water that he would use to float himself down the river to arrive at a friendly Sioux tribe who helped tend to his wounds and feed him. Back on his feet again, he finished the 200-mile trip back to Fort Kiowa in search of the men he needed to kill. He found Jim Bridger, but since he was just 19 and absolutely terrified and ashamed to see him, Hugh decided not to kill him, but instead exchange a few stern words with the young fellow. He was then on to kill John Fitzgerald. It took him a year, but he found John, who had now joined the army. Knowing that the penalty was death for a civilian to kill a soldier, he had to settle for snatching back his rifle from him while giving him a real dirty look. John's fellow soldiers did sympathize with Hugh's story, so they collected a big bag of money for his trouble. Then, Hugh was back on his way, back to his fur trapping life. He never got the revenge that he wanted, but he finally got his Oscar, so that's cool. Good night, kids. And don't get f***ing eaten by a bear.